I'm Ben Villegas. I'm Ben Villegas, and we're talking about water rights in Siskiyou County again. And we have all three. The last two videos, we had Aaron Parker for the last one. And then the first one was Rosie and her son, so he's back. They're back again. And we're talking water rights. We're just going to have a discussion. You guys want to introduce yourselves and then get to it. The 3 points I had were legality, environmental impact. Aaron has proposed solutions. Rosie is so knowledgeable. Look at her making faces. So, who wants to start off? Introduce yourselves and then let's get started.
Well, as you guys already know, I'm Aaron Parker, and I just have some proposed solutions that kind of cover all through those topics. You guys?
I'm Rosie Scott. I'm a local rancher, a fifth generation, and I'm trying to stay alive for my son and his children to take over for their sixth generation.
Justin Scott, sixth generation rancher, trying to figure out a way to keep the ranch going for me, my fiance, and our future family.
All right, we've moved to the tailgate of the truck. Well, the bed of the truck because the tailgate's missing. Aaron, tell us what we're talking about
It's
next.
the farmer life, though.
It's a farmer life. Aaron, introduce us our next subject.
So, it all kind of follows under one category of the legalization of, or basically just mirroring what other counties in this state are doing.
I'm going to interrupt you and say what I've been telling you earlier while we're talking. It's Mama said, Papa said. The state is the dad. He said you can grow. The county is the mom, and she's saying no. Keep going.
So, in regards to that, it would be what we're about to cover would pertain to what the county can change as to what it is now to what it could be
Using other counties in the same
using
state
other
as
counties
examples.
as an example.
Thank you. Rosie, you got anything to say to him before we get started?
It would regulating it and being able to regulate it would be marvelous, but it has not happened, and it will not happen because there's too much money. And anytime you throw $1 million in the middle of the room, you're going to have problems. And we were talking about this earlier. Everybody thinks that shutting the water trucks off has to do with water. It doesn't. We have one group of growers who have bought wells. They are laughing because their plants are doing good. We have another group of growers that are determining their plants on the use of water trucks. The price of pot has went down, the price of hemp has went down, and they're losing their butt. So how do you make the price of your product go up? You eliminate the other. How do you make that happen on a budget? You use your county regulations. That is what's going on out here. And the sad part about this is the farmer, I hear this all the time. Oh, them white farmers, you should see what they're doing. If you're a farmer, you don't got enough money to do crap any which way you go. You have to work 3 or 4 outside jobs just to make this any kind of a way of life.
And Aaron, you know this for a fact. You can't live off of this land alone.
No.
You got to do outside entrepreneurial shit.
But
Things.
how many acres do you have here?
This property is 40, roughly.
So you got 40 acres here, and how many incomes do you have?
Me personally, the family,
No, with the family.
Just outside jobs outside of the property.
What's your income on that? Like, how many incomes do you have coming into your 40 acres here?
Between them two, they both work separate jobs. Rosie works 3 or how many did you say? USDA.
I would like to hit that dozen. I haven't made a
So
dozen.
let's put it this way: she works a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
I work a full-time job, and I work a second job
And I work a
to
third or
provide
fourth,
for
and sometimes
cows,
a fifth.
horses, sheep, and the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much money we have built up, which we should have all this money built up compared to what we're paying right now? We're broke.
They're barely getting by.
What's the point of working all these hours that I'm working? I'm working over 100 hours a week. What's the point of working 100 hours a week if you're getting nothing? It's like you're donating.
I mean, that's up to the individual. the way I feel.
I'm buying a way of life for my kid because I don't want my kid to live in a city, and I want
I
my
mean-
kids. I want. You know what I love? This is what I like about my kids. I have a daughter and a son, and I'm very proud of both of them. There's not one person in this county that'll tell me my kids don't work.
Mhm.
They will not call them lazy, and when they need a job done, they will call.
There's
Now-
one person that'll call them lazy, you, because they don't work as hard as you.
I mean, I'm proud of them. They hold their own.
Mhm.
They're Grenada Elementary, Waurika High School.
We can't spell, but we can work.
I mean, so the question that you asked me was, you know, what's the point of you working in a certain way, you know, to only provide so much?
Rosie,
And
sorry to interrupt you. What if just a little tiny square of your ranch had your own personal grow and you could profit from it?
You know, we talked about putting a pivot. Heck with it.
We actually did.
We've talked about putting a pivot. That bottom 10 acres, and yeah. But the deal with pot is the market's gone.
The market is dying.
The market's gone. You're a day late and a dollar short.
Awesome expression. I've heard that since I've been a kid.
And and then the other thing is, I care about kids. I'm a school bus driver. I've been on the school board.
That's how I met you.
And he asked me today, how many kids do you think you have? And I said about 640. I go to more weddings, baby showers. I have an Air Force kid. I have a Navy kid. I have 3 or 4 cops for kids, and I've got 5 or 6 that are in jail. You know, you love your kids, and you want a way of life for them. You don't want to bring kids into this world and say, well, that was good. Let's chuck them suckers in the pond and try again in 9 months.
So,
You know?
in that statement, okay, so you got your 40 acres here, and I'm looking around. You have 1, 2, 3 ponds on here?
there's, yeah, three
3?
ponds total.
Okay, so you got your 3 ponds. What's going to make the money here? How are you going to live off your land?
So, in regards to your question, and I'm going to get to this question, this is 2 parts. So, to the original question of how we choose to make our money. You know, people have told me, oh, I should just go get a regular job, you know, that pays, you know, $15 an hour or whatever.
There isn't that in the county. There isn't that in the county.
What I choose
I want
to
Rosie's
do
job and they won't give it to me.
McDonald's hires me.
versus what I choose
Rosie
to
makes
do.
money.
I make more than her.
Versus what I choose to do, which is my own business, cutting firewood and other things like the opportunity that
And not
came
just
up
you,
to
a
sell
lot of the
firewood,
county.
and as a legitimate business that I created, unlike the others that sell firewood, I created a legitimate business, and my primary source of income is firewood from the Vista area.
Okay, so your primary source of business is firewood. So you would support other people's primary businesses that they, no matter what it is, it's what they do, correct?
Tell them
What do, you,
again.
what do you mean by supporting other
Tell them
businesses?
again.
Okay, so like our business, like mine and my mom's, is we sell cows for beef, because I know you like steak. We sell lamb for meat, because lamb meat's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We also have horses that require the cows to be worked and whatnot, and that all costs a lot of money. So you got your firewood business, your expenses are wear and tear on your pickup, fuel, oil change,
Mhm.
yada yada yada. We got our business, which is cattle, sheep, horses, and whatnot, which is quote unquote our
Way of life.
way of life, which is we got to pay for the vaccines and whatnot. So let's say we just came into your place, ran our cattle out here, and told you, yeah, this sucks, don't cut here.
Don't cut here on our own property.
Yeah, it's like the water.
But see, tell me where you can legally do that on
Well,
our
that's
own
what they're doing.
private
They're
property.
taking our water and saying,
It's the
okay.
water table. It's the same thing as a water table. So let's say, and we'll just, can we use your place as a reference?
Yes, but what I'm saying is the water table is different from cutting firewood in that respect. Then,
How?
so
It's still a natural resource being used.
the land, you would have to it would have to be on its own category. The water would have to be on its own category because the natural resource of the trees that are designated within these property lines cannot be taken by somebody that is.
Okay. Well, so you got 40 acres of trees right here, correct? I take it where that thing over there is not your property?
It is.
Okay, so we'll go right past that. Say you harvest all these trees here. You clear cut this land, you sell all this firewood, you got all this money. Okay? These trees take water to grow, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they tap into your water table. They suck it dry because they're doing their own thing, whatever it is. We won't bring that up. And now your trees don't grow, you got no money, you got no trees, and you can't go cut anywhere else. What do you do?
Grow pot. That's what we're talking about. How do you legalize it? I'm going to get you back on track, Aaron. Hang on. Hang on a second for me.
You cannot make cutting trees on a property equivalent to the water table and that.
Well, it's like cutting
Why
the trees
not?
on your property.
It's a natural
You would
resource
love to
being
go cut
used.
the trees on your neighbor's property once you run out because they got all the trees. It's just like our water. Everybody sucks up our water. We'd love to have the neighbor's water. Then our grass grows, our cows eat, and we got money coming in. But when you're all clear cut here and you can't go cut anywhere else because all the regulations say no, you can't, then what?
Let's leave it up to the viewers. Can something that's on the property that is only contained within the property lines be separate from what would be considered in the water table?
Actually, it's like the spotted owl. And this is a great one. I love this one. So a spotted owl, you can't cut where they find a spotted owl, correct? Like you can't go cut them trees, correct? I mean, correct me if
Okay.
I'm wrong. So
I don't know.
we'll just say that they find a spotted owl here on your property. You know what they're gonna do?
Kick you off.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
What did I
That's
tell
the
you about
government.
this being like a natural refuge? This property could become a natural preserve because it has water and wildlife on it.
In all reality, you got great
so
bass ponds.
so
You
So-
do. You got amazing bass ponds.
I would love to
somebody
go fishing.
somebody, whether it's you guys or a viewer, doesn't matter. Somebody please state where it becomes legal for which the only people that would have the authority would be the government to say we're seizing your land
Lavoy Finicum.
because of a specific bird that happens to at the time be on your
What
property.
was it? The spotted frog that Lavoy Finicum got kicked off thousands of acres?
A turtle.
A turtle. So he got kicked off thousands of grazing acres that he literally was paying the government for.
Wait,
and
so
they-
so it's not private land, it was public land
Part
that
of
they
it
were
was
using?
private. Part
But
of it
you're
he
paying
owned.
for it. It's like
Part
the
of it
same.
was
It's a
public-
permit to
If
access.
you don't make your
It's
payments on this land,
wildlife
where are you
grazing.
gonna
They
go?
use it in Etna and
You ain't
everywhere.
gonna be
Bought
here.
but the difference is
He
what
had-
is bought private land.
He had private land and he had government land, and it was checkerboard, and they wouldn't let him use his own land because of this tortoise.
Because
Rosie,
I've,
can I ask
I've
you a
seen,
quick? Hang on.
I've seen private properties that may have an endangered species on it, and
It becomes protected.
the law enforcement may do something, whereas if they were to kill it or something like that, that's a problem. But
So what
if that endangered animal is on that property,
So let's put it this way. What if they drove down your driveway, came up here, and they say, "We seen a spotted frog here. You can no longer be on this property."
I would say show me the legal paperwork.
There you go.
You know, it was,
That's exactly what we've been saying.
this
It don't
is-
matter what legal paperwork.
Rosie,
there
can I
is,
ask you a
everybody
question?
breaks the
Sorry to
law.
interrupt all you guys. Your cattle stay on your land year round, right?
I have cattle there year round, but I lease some out. Yeah.
But it's not like Etna. You know what I'm talking about? Etna, all
Like go
those
into
cows and all
mountains.
those fields go up into the mountain and
Right.
free graze.
Right.
They pay for their
But they
free
pay for that.
free grazing. I mean, they're outside free,
Right. Yes.
not it's free to access. And then at the end of summer,
They come
the
back.
cow with the bell comes at the cat at the guard, and they let her through, and the whole pack comes through.
So with
You
that,
guys don't do that.
no.
Not anymore. We used to. We don't anymore.
What
So
forest did you use? Did
We
you truck
were-
them somewhere?
We were up at Liskey's above Iron Gate, and then we were down at Lake Mountain, down the Klamath.
So you would truck them out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I just went to a place where I had to work 40, 50 head of cows, where we had to bell them so they can go up into the mountains.
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation while I was there. Their whole conversation was they have people that do not own the land where their cows are on, where they're paying the government, that are trying to force their cows not to be there. They are trying to go against what they have already paid the government.
Well, Rosie's gonna love this one. The
Yeah.
forest is being leased to China, so you can't be in it if we're leasing it to China.
Literally, their neighbors.
Harney County, Oregon.
I
Their
knew you were gonna
neighbors
go there.
have lit the hills on fire, and they have killed their cows just to get them out of there. And I was down there. What was that? 2 months ago, I went down there.
Yeah. Not even
Put
too
bells
much.
on their cows. They did not find their cows for quite a while. While we were down there putting bells on their cows to go back out for this year, we found 4 cows that had bells on from last year that never got
And they became wild, and you couldn't even touch them.
We could bring them in.
Really, I've seen one that was stayed out
But-
over winter, and you couldn't come near her.
So
Some of them get a little froggy.
they do get froggy. But it was the fact that they never came in with their group. There was a fire that separated them. So they got separated from their group, didn't know which way to go. Their group came in, they were off somewhere else. It's like having a lost child. Child doesn't know where to go. Like the cow. Cow doesn't know where to go. You lose your child's going to wander looking for you. Lose a cow, cow's going to wander looking for their group. You're their group. So it's
Yeah, I kind
It's
of
like
laugh
a
a little
lose-lose
bit
in there.
about your pun, and I think you kind of missed the point of what he was saying. You say Nature Conservancy, somebody drives down the road and they look and says, "Wow, there's a pond back there." They pull in and say, "Hey, did you know you have a large lip licker bass fish in your pond?" And you're like, "Yeah," or "No, I didn't know." They're like, "Well, we'll throw one in." And a month later, they come in behind you and say, "Wow, that's an endangered fish in your pond. It's now habitat." Sorry, you can't be here.
I
We're
told you
taking
your
around.
pond was beautiful and reminded me of the refuge.
Shasta River's going through this. They say it's salmon habitat. There is very little places on the Shasta River from the mouth to the front of it that you can't cross a horseback. And they're saying it's salmon habitat. And we're going to let the water down it so the salmon can come out.
No, I mean,
The Klamath
so
River has this
I
issue.
understand.
The Klamath River, when my mom was a child, went dry. There was 12 places they could take a Model T across it.
So I understand that what you're saying is that if they find something that is endangered or what else?
We're talking
in this
environmental
category?
impact still.
Yes.
But
So-
we got off topic. Let me get you back on. Other counties legalizing it and creating permits for what
Yes.
is industrial grows, or even just to grow above 12 plants. Because here in Siskiyou
What I
County,
would like to
it's
finish
12
off with
period.
is that, and right after this we'll get back on track to legalization, but I would fight long and hard towards any institution that comes private property and says that they are going to now seize it, and I would fight like hell to my rights to own the property.
Lavoy Finicum did that, and he got shot in the head.
Well,
Yeah,
hang
got
on,
shot in
guys.
the back.
But this is also the private property and not just property that was being
What was that
used.
one in Idaho?
How is that
Public
any
property.
different? How is that any different? What's going on with the water
Are you
rights?
sure it's Norba?
They don't have water on that land. Now they're saying you can't get water on that land. How is that any different? If you were a person in the Vistas unable to get water, how would you feel?
So as of now, the way the water rights are, is that for
Is that
this
the one that the
property,
FBI did it?
so for county ordinances, it says that you cannot take it off a parcel. The ordinance also states that it cannot be used for marijuana cultivation. There are no regulations
Hey!
as far as the county is concerned to what you do with it on that property that the well is on.
But you have to have a well to have that freedom.
Yes, of course. Naturally, I mean, and the ag well is different from the normal house well. So these ponds are provided by an ag well, which has separate rights from the household well.
Guys, thank you for concluding this one. What's your next subject? What are we on next?
So going back to everything that we were intentionally going to was to start this section out, it would be to have in order to conduct a commercial grow, a commercial cultivation, then you would have to, for one, be a legitimate business. It would have to be a legitimate business.
I agree with that.
Filed.
If you're legitimate, you can be taxed. You're putting back in.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
And
you.
you
Keep
have to
going.
clean up your own mess. Nobody is arguing about the businesses doing it legally, doing it right.
But how many followed that?
So
This is all illegal.
This county
because
does
of the
not
county.
have ordinances as such as to like what the county of Humboldt does. They do not provide ordinances that
Humboldt
that
issues
cover.
permits.
Humboldt
It's a
is-
bracelet for each plant.
So,
When it's a baby, you put a bracelet on it. It's like a tag deer.
so
If it has a bracelet, it's legal. You can't be cut down. You already paid for it.
comparing this
But
to
if you
Humboldt,
exceed it, then you get in
Humboldt
trouble
has
again.
created laws for this, and people are following the laws there. If they don't follow the laws, then that's it.
They're busting Humboldt right now.
They are.
They
So,
overgrow.
When
And
they're
they allow
not
a lot.
following the laws here, and they bust the laws here, how's that any different?
It's the mom and pops.
It's
It's the state versus the county.
so when it
could
comes
be state versus county.
when
but
it
they
comes
passed
down
that
to
law in 2018.
we all agree that for anything that we do, whether it's alcohol, whether it's driving, whether it's no, it doesn't matter. There's always regulations.
Those are federal
We
regulations you
all
just
agree.
mentioned.
It doesn't matter what even level the law is. We all agree that for everything that we do, there are regulations that we have to follow, and if we don't, then we face the consequences of that. We can all agree on that, and we can all agree that in every subject that you cover that has those laws, there's always going to be people that disobey them and should rightly
Outliers and lawbreakers.
and
That's why
should
we're here.
rightly
Correct.
That's what
face
this
those
is all
consequences.
about.
But with that being said, we brought up in the last video that we were in is 200 acres got cleared for all this. How many plants do you think are on that 200 acres? You figure an acre per 100 plants. Correct? So what's 200 times 100?
200 acres,
200 acres.
Times 100.
but
Do the math for us. I don't even know
Okay.
what you're saying.
Uh,
There's zeros in there and I
200,
don't know.
200 times 100 is
200,000?
yeah, 200,000.
So
200,000 plants on 2
200
acres.
Right?
Yes.
So how many gallons of water does a plant take?
Rosie says 5 to 20 in day each.
We'll go in the middle. Actually,
10.
it's
10?
we'll go in the middle. We'll just say 12. So 12 gallons of plant.
I like 10 because it had a 0.
We'll go with 10. We'll go on the
Okay.
low side. So 10 gallons of plant. There's 200,000 plants, correct? So 10
Currently.
gallons times 200,000. What's I don't know. I'm terrible at
Are we in the millions yet?
2 million.
No, I got to get a calculator. 200, 1, 2, 3 times 10 is 2 million gallons of water a day.
So, would you agree that if the structure for legitimate business to do commercial grows was to be set up, would you agree that the majority of them might not follow that? So then, therefore, 200,000 plants are probably not going to be legal?
Tell you what, so let's say we did set up this deal that you just said.
Actually, it's set up. Nobody's following it.
It's like the 12 plants.
12 plants. If
12
if you were to adjust, because I know in Humboldt they don't just, it's not limited to 12.
They're limited to 99.
Tell us what it is. You told me earlier.
They're 99 plants, correct?
I
think it's close to medical standards, yes.
No, it's not 100 because they passed the law. 100 plants is too much. It's 99 plants in a greenhouse.
Yeah, in a greenhouse. But there was also stated on the ordinance that I believe it's per 5 acres, 2,000 square feet
Can be dedicated.
of cultivation is the word that they used.
Correct. So per 5 acres, you're allowed 99 plants. So per 5 acres. So there's 200 acres cleared. Are there 99 plants per 5 acres? Because 200 divided by 5 is 20. What's that, 200? Or no, 20.
4. 200 divided by is 4. 5 goes to 24 times.
So 40,000.
Is there that out there? Or is there a greenhouse on every single acre?
And if, guys, seriously, if we were to follow suit with Humboldt, these would still be getting busted because they exceed. We just concluded that.
Yep.
Even if we had the Humboldt legislation, these would still exceed it because they're industrial grows and they're above that.
I think
So if we followed suit with Humboldt and brought it back down, that would be manageable, correct?
down to what?
To like Humboldt levels because these are exceeding it even.
Yes. So I
But
think
they're not going to do that because they can't afford to do that. They can't have all these people out here without the plants. You have to make money off of it. This is a business. Yes. You want to know why they're pulling out? Because they're not making money.
It's like your firewood business. Are you really going to sit there and cut firewood if you ain't making money? If you're making, literally, say your cost
my
like,
wood
what,
never
40,
sat.
40, 50
my
bucks?
wood sold the same day. I never had wood in my house.
So you go cut wood, depending on how far you go, your costs are 40, 50 bucks with a chain, gas, and everything, correct? So if you can only sell a cord of wood for 60 bucks, would you do it every single day?
No.
Exactly.
But I'm also the single person as a sole owner of my businesses or as a business owner, I name the price. Now, of course, that does go with the demand and the economics of it.
Even with your demand, are you still going to lose money?
He does.
Yes.
Zion ridiculed him for it. He has one.
You have a business permit.
He doesn't even
Do you have an environmental impact statement?
No, because I'm not required to.
I have a registered business. This is all under B9 Communication Strategies, registered through the county for YouTube videos.
So, how many cords of firewood can you cut before having an environmental impact statement?
Well, I don't know. I've never
Were
been
you
stated. That's never been stated, but I do know that in order to sell commercial firewood,
you have to be out of a certain forest.
How many permits can you buy per year? How many permits?
There is no, according to...
there's
hold on,
12.
wait, hold on, don't interrupt me.
All right.
According to U.S. Forest Service, there are no limitations to commercial permits.
That is correct. But for household use, you get 12 cords.
It's 12 cord.
That's what I was getting at.
So commercial, you got to have permits for each cord that you bring off.
And you have to go to a specific forest.
And you have to mark them, correct?
Yes. This last season,
how many
personal
permits did you
use
go through?
firewood was free, but you still had to have a permit on hand. Commercial permits were $20 per.
In all honesty, how many permits did you actually legally use to sell firewood?
All of them.
Really?
Yes.
So you, with every quart of firewood that you sold commercially, you went and got a permit?
Yes.
So
Did everybody else said they did do it?
Yes.
Did everybody else? That's not on me to sit
so
there and say.
your price of wood has to include that $20 permit.
Yes.
All right, guys, conclusion and final words.
It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's nice to talk to people. He has really good ideas about regulations. Some I agree with, some I don't. Water is what we fight over. Whiskey is what we drink. It's sad to see what has happened to the county because we all agree that we're not stopping what's illegally going on. It needs to get under control. We've got to get under control. And they're putting the small, you can't say it's a white rancher. You can't say it's a black rancher. You can't say it's a Hmong thing. It's not a racist thing. It's an illegal thing and doing things right and doing them proper. That's my conclusion.
Aaron?
Well, I back that 100%. Though I do feel like there can be a middle ground between them. There can be a middle ground between what this county does to what the other counties do. And at the end of the day, are you always going to have people doing things illegal? Yes. But you can also meet in the middle and mitigate it.
Justin?
Show me anything that's ever been meet in the middle. Everybody breaks the law. It don't matter what it is.
There's always going to be outliers.
Everybody's done something illegal. I don't care who you are. Everybody breaks the law.
And I want to conclude it with, guys, this is no end to anything. All this is a discussion because it needs to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
All you guys did is start a conversation. And I thank you all.
I don't think we can get anything done if we quit talking about it.
You have to
Definitely.
talk
You
about
have
it.
to get it out
Without a doubt.
and get it. And although we're on opposite, I don't even think we're on opposite sides. I think
You guys agree with a lot.
We do
I think
agree
we're,
with
we're
we should
closer
honestly,
than we think.
we should bring in more people to see their views on it. Just
Well,
so
let's
we
go to
can-
the next county board meeting and we'll bring them there. That's where it needs to be discussed, right, Rosie?
Yeah.
Can we have beer there?
I don't know. We'll ask.
No, sir.
I might have to ask permission for my
I
camera.
have my name on the chair there
I'd just
already.
like to
Thank
show
you.
up.
So
Thank
I'd
you,
like to thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
I had fun.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
And
Yeah,
like
you
I
as well.
said, this is just a discussion to continue the discussion. I thank you all, and I've had fun, and I learned a lot.
Good night, San Francisco.
I'm going to put your butt to work. I don't want to hear you.